Hello students, in this video we will complete the story that we started yesterday, and that is the ninth story, My Greatest Olympic Prize, written by Jesse Owens about his personal experience in the 1936 Berlin Olympics, where he got four gold medals. And that was, you can say, in a way he is thankful to Lars Long for his own rival, who was a German, who motivated him to make a better choice in making his qualification, and then later onwards he qualified and then made even further progress afterwards, winning four gold medals in that particular event. Yesterday we did it till page 105, where Lars Long showed him the takeoff board and told him to draw an imaginary line, and from there to jump just to qualify, and then practice further, so that the next day when he's qualified, then in the final event he could perform better. So understanding that particular advice, Jesse Owens was quite you can say relieved, and followed the same advice which was given to him by his opponent, by his rival Lars Long. So here we will start the reading from page 106. It says, "Suddenly all the tension seemed to ebb out of my body as the truth of what he said hit me. Confidently, I drew a line a full foot in back of the board and proceeded to jump from there. I qualified with almost a foot to spare." So Jesse Owens says that I understood what he really wanted to tell me, Lars Long, that it is not important to prove yourself in this particular qualifying jump. What is more important is to see that you qualify today, and then tomorrow you can perform better. Tomorrow is the main date to prove yourself, but that can happen only if you are able to qualify today. So it's better you focus on qualifying rather than proving yourself today. So he understood that, and then very confidently in his mind, in his imagination, he drew a line almost a foot back, almost 1 feet back behind the takeoff board. And when he did that, then he proceeded from there. As he jumped from there, it is said that he obviously knew, everybody knew that he could jump very far. So he jumped, and he jumped such a at such a distance that whatever the mark was required to qualify the event, he almost crossed it by a foot. That means still he had 1 foot ahead. He's jumped 1 foot ahead of the qualifying mark. So he was able to qualify very easily. And then at that night, it is given, that night I walked over to Lars Long's room in the Olympic Village to thank him. Now you might say which village they were living in. Usually whenever there are such games like the Olympiads, Asian Games, Commonwealth Games, or even you can say Olympic Games as a matter of fact, so all the athletes, all the people, those who are participating in that event, those who have come from far off places, and even from that own country also, they all come and reside at one place only, and that one place is made the hub for all the athletes to stay over there till the time the event goes on. So that particular place where all the athletes live for that duration, practicing, performing, and having their time over there, that particular place is called as the Olympic Village, or as the Games Village. So here it was in the village, in their own Olympic Village. That night he went to Lars Long's room because he wanted to thank him. He knew that he would have not made it, he would have just burnt in the fury and would have disqualified himself. But if he would have not followed Lars Long's advice, if Lars Long would have not been so considerate to come and help him, motivate him. I knew that if it hadn't been for him, I probably wouldn't be jumping in the finals the following day. So he understood that it was Lars Long's motivation which gave him the right path, the right focus, and it was only because of that he was able to jump in the following day's final event. Otherwise he would have been disqualified that day only. It says, I know that if it hadn't been for him, I probably wouldn't be jumping in the finals the following day. We sat in his quarters and talked for 2 hours about the track and field, ourselves, the world situation, a dozen other things. So he went to Laslong's room. They sat, they have a nice time talking about, they were not talking about some serious talks about the games, but he said that we like friends, we were there talking about various different things. The irony is they should have been the fiercest rivals, because Jesse Owens was the best athlete and Laslong was the German athlete prepared by obviously Hitler just to beat this Jesse Owens in the game. And that was something which should have had strong and staunch rivalry. But here we see it was Laslong and Jesse Owens are sitting in their room, in Laslong's room, and they are talking about various different things, maybe about, you can say, the game, the track, the fields, and moreover about themselves, the world situations, the Nazi supremacy, and the chaotic world scenario going on. Because we know that 1936, obviously the World War was not going on, but during those years the situation were quite aggressive, aggregated, and it was like the situation had a lot of trouble in the entire world scenario. So they were all discussing about these things like two men, like two close friends. They were discussing about various different things. Then he says, when I finally got up to leave, we both knew that a real friendship had been formed. Luz would go out to the field the next day trying to beat me if he could, but I knew that he wanted me to do my best, even if that meant my winning. So he says that after all that balmy talk, having a nice conversation with Laslong like a good friend, I knew that it was the beginning of a very good friendship, a strong bond of friendship. And it was ironical that the person he has been friend with, or he has become friends with, it is the same person who is going to be on the field the next day and going out, doing his best to beat Jesse Owens in the game. But at the same time, he also knew that obviously he is the rival, he will prove himself to be better than Jesse Owens. But at the same time, he will equally be happy if Jesse Owens does his best, and if that means winning of Jesse Owens, he would be happy even that also, because for Laslong it would be may the best man win, and if he wins, he wanted to win against Jesse Owens, who was the best. And if he wanted to lose, or if he accepted his loss, it would be only losing to the best man, and that would again be Jesse Owens. So in both the places, whether he wins or whether he loses, he wanted to have the toughest he wanted to be the toughest competition for Jesse Owens, and that was the real friendship. At the same time, having a nice competition, a friendly spirit, but at the same time spirit of competition, healthy competition. So now the day passed on, and the next day it happened so. As it turned out, Luz broke his own past record. In doing so, he pushed me on to a peak performance. I remember that at the instant I landed from my final jump, the one which set the Olympic record of 26 feet 5/16 inch, he was at my side congratulating me. So he says Laslong did his best, and when he was out on the field, he was jumping so high that he broke his own record, past records. And doing so, he forced me to do my best, and I was so forced and so compelled to do my best performance that I was at my peak performance. And that peak performance made me not only break my own past record, that was of 26 feet 8 and 8/14 inch, but rather it was basically he said that I broke the Olympic record also. And so he went on, he said that when I did that particular thing, I could see that Laslong was the one who was my fiercest rival, but he was standing just next to me congratulating me. Here it says, despite the fact that Hitler glared at us from the stand not 100 yards away, Luz shook my hand hard, and it wasn't a fake smile with a broken heart sort of grip either. So it is given that when he came to me and he was congratulating me, he was being very happy. I could understand that it was a real genuine friend who has come to congratulate me, and the smile that I could see on Laslong's face was not a fake smile. It was not a smile that a broken hearted athlete co-participant would give, that although he has lost and he's sad, but just for the formality's sake he is winning and wishing the winner with a smile. It was not that. He was holding his hand hard. That means very happy, with a lot of gratitude and happiness. He's shaking hands with the winner, and he was the one prepared by Hitler, and Hitler was not standing 100 yards away looking at the winners or looking at these athletes, and there in front of Hitler he was congratulating him, not even bothered what Hitler would say or feel. He was really happy for his friend to win the gold, although Laslong was the one who got the silver. But yet we can say Hitler might have thought any particular thing, but Laslong was not with the same ideologies, and he was really happy for the best man winning the competition and he competing against the best man, that is Jesse Owens. So he says, "You can melt down all the gold medals and cup I have, and they couldn't be a plating on the 24-carat friendship I felt for Laslong at that moment." So he says, I had such good friendship with the Laslong. It felt like a 24-carat pure gold friendship, and all the gold medals and the cups that I have, if you melt them and make a plating out of that, even that wouldn't be as pure as the pure friendship, gold 24-carat friendship that I felt with Laslong. I realized then too that Luz was the epitome of what Perry de Coubertin, founder of modern Olympic game, must have had in mind when he said, the important thing in Olympics is not winning but taking part. And so the essential thing in the life is also the same, not conquering but fighting well. So he says, when I saw Laslong, I simply felt that this man is the real, you can say, example, the quintessence, the perfect example of the situation which was properly defined or stated by Perry de Coubertin when he was talking about Olympic Games. And it was that winning is not important. The important part is just taking part and doing your best. And Laslong did that. He was not bothered about winning, but rather he was bothered about winning, doing his best performance, and that too competing in the most healthiest sportsman spirit with the best person, best competitors, best opponents. And that was the pure essence of Olympic Games, the pure spirit of Olympic competition. And so is the same spirit required in the life also, that you should not be living your life not for conquering, but rather fighting well for all the things that you're fighting for all the things that you require. You should not be just out there to conquer it. You should be out there to fight well. Winning and losing will be a part and parcel of your endeavors, but how you strive for that particular thing, what is your zeal and enthusiasm, that is the thing that matters the most. So Olympic Games or the life, whatever we talk about, it is not the end result, but it is the way you go through it, the way you endure it, or the way you pursue your dream or your achievements, your goals. That is most important. And so he says Laslong was a perfect example of how to strive and do better, and how to have a sportsman spirit, how to have a proper, you can say, approach towards your goal. That was the thing that one could learn from Laslong. He never had this hatred or animosity against his opponents, but rather he had a very friendship and considerate feeling, and a lot of care and compassion for his co-athletes also. So that was the feeling required among all the participants of the Olympics. So with this, we come to the end of the story. Okay children, regarding this particular chapter, regarding this particular story, I'll give you a few short question answer type questions and answers also, so you can just note them down. When you see this video, you can note them down somewhere in your copies also. This is just for a revision, a slight revision of what type of questions might be asked and what type of answers you should be writing. Plus I'll give you a long answer type question this you can work on your own so that you understand the question properly. This is for you to understand the story, so it is not going to be a question just like this, but yes, obviously this is for you to work on so that you understand and you are able to express the entire story or the question that is asked in your own words. So your question number 1, you can write, when and where were the Olympic Games held? When and where the Olympic Games were held? Your answer, you will write, the Olympic Games were held in summers of 1936 in Berlin, Germany. Question number 2, why were nationalist feelings at an all-time high? The answer is, the nationalist feelings during the Olympic Games were at an all-time high because Hitler had insisted that his performers were members of the master race and they would perform better than any other participant in the 1936 Olympics. So it was like an open challenge to all of them to prove themselves better than the Germans. Next is question number 3. How had Jesse Owens prepared for the game? You will write, Jesse Owens had trained, it is given in the text also, had trained, sweated and disciplined himself for 6 years in order to participate in the games. Question number 4. What did Jesse Owens think while he was going over on the boat? What event had he set his eyes on? Your answer will be, while Jesse Owens was going over on the boat, he thought of taking home 1 or 2 medals and he had set his eyes on running broad jump event so that he was thinking to win at least 1 gold or 1 or 2 gold over here in these particular races, jumps. Question number 5. What achievement had he made while he was a student at the Ohio State University? What were people's expectations from him? You will write, he had set the world's record of 26 feet 8 inches. People expected him to win that Olympic event hands down. Now some children ask that whatever his race or his jump was in the Olympics, which is considered to be a world record, was 26 feet 5/16. So that is lesser than 8/1/4. So over here we might just simply say that this is not a world record as in the international level. So that is why it was at just a university level. So that is why it was not included over there. But obviously it was much better than the Olympic world record also. So that is why it is a bigger figure than that. But that was the official international event figures. That is why they are considered as the Olympic score. Olympic, you can say, record. Next, regarding this particular story, I am not giving you any further smaller question answer type things. Let's just quickly, you can just remember or rather you can note it down, the long answer type question that you are supposed to write as in your own words in the essay sort of answer, so that you are able to express yourself and know the answer also, the story also in the answer form. The question is, describe the professional rivalry and professional friendship of Owens and Luz Long. Is that clear? Describe the professional rivalry and professional friendship of Jesse Owens and Luz Long. So with this, we come to the end of the module. You have your work at hand. You can even do this particular question and previous smaller questions also, the short answer type questions. Even those questions also you can note down somewhere. But this one, please try to do this in your own rough copies or English copies, wherever you feel like you can do them. They will be all for your practice. So with this, we come to the end of the module and end of the video.